They told us the energy crisis was inevitable. They told us that clean power costs $20,000 in solar panels and a lifetime of debt to the grid. They lied. Right now, beneath your feet, a global energy theft is occurring. It is happening in the cracks of the sidewalk in New York City. It is happening in the vast rice paddies of Vietnam. It is happening in that dusty pot of soil sitting on your windowsill. Every plant on Earth is currently bleeding electricity into the dirt, and for 400 million years, we have been too blind to plug in. We are told that energy is expensive. We are told that clean green power requires multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, lithium mines that scar the Earth, and solar arrays that only work when the sky is clear. We have been conditioned to believe that we are customers of a grid that owns our light. But what if the grid was a choice, not a necessity? The title of this video sounds like a lie. Grow unlimited, clean green electricity in a pot. $0, no solar. You likely clicked because you want to debunk it. You want to see the trick. But the only trick is the one played on you by a century of centralized energy. To understand how a bucket of mud can light your home, you have to understand the carbon leak. Most people think plants take sunlight and turn it into wood or leaves. That is only half the story. Plants are the most overproductive factories in the universe. Through photosynthesis, they fix carbon and create glucose, pure liquid energy. But here is the forbidden detail. Plants manufacture up to 40% more sugar than they can ever use. They don't store it in a fat layer. Instead, they pump this liquid gold directly out of their roots and into the soil. Imagine a billionaire standing on a street corner throwing $100 bills into the wind because his pockets are too full. That is what every blade of grass is doing right now. This isn't just New Age science. We are rediscovering a relationship with the Earth that was hinted at by the ancients. While they didn't have multimeters, cultures like the builders of the Persian Qanat systems understood that the Earth was a living, breathing battery of moisture and movement. In 1911, Michael Crest proved that microbes could generate current, but his work was buried. Why? Because you can't put a meter on a plant you grow in your backyard. By the end of this chapter, you won't just see a plant. You will see a 24/7 self-replicating carbon-negative power plant that runs on mud and moonlight. If the plant is the billionaire throwing money into the wind, who is picking it up? Enter the most important organism you've never heard of, Geobacter. Beneath the surface of your soil, a literal marketplace is in session. The area around a plant's roots is called the rhizosphere. It is the most densely populated real estate on the planet. A single gram of soil contains more bacteria than there are humans on Earth. These bacteria are starving for energy. When the plant exudes its excess sugar into the soil, it isn't wasting it. It is paying the bacteria. In exchange for the sugar, the bacteria break down hard minerals like phosphorus and nitrogen, delivering them to the plant on a silver platter. It is a perfect ancient trade. In 2005, researchers at the University of Massachusetts found something that changed physics forever. They discovered that specific bacteria, like Geobacter sulfuridescens, don't just eat the sugar. They digest it through a process that releases electrons, raw electricity. In normal soil, these electrons are lost to oxygen. They vanish as heat. But these bacteria have a superpower. They grow conductive pili, biological nanowires. These are actual metallic-behaving cables that grow out of the bacterium's body. They use these wires to plug into the soil to dump their electrical waste. This is the golden hook of our technology. If we can give those bacteria a better place to plug in than a grain of sand, if we can provide an artificial power strip, we can intercept those electrons before they vanish. We are not making electricity, we are harvesting a waste product of a biological trade that has been happening since the beginning of time. This isn't a theory. In 2014, in a park near Amsterdam, a company called Plant Microbial successfully lit 300 streetlights using nothing but the plants growing in the marshes. No solar panels, no wind, just the Starry Sky project, proving that a swamp is actually a power station waiting for a wire. I'm going to be honest with you. Most free energy videos on the internet are fake. They use hidden batteries or induction coils. I'm going to show you how to build this with materials you can find in a trash can or a hobby shop, and I'll show you the one mistake that kills 99% of these projects. To build a plant microbial fuel cell, a PMFC, you need to create two worlds inside your pot. 1. World A, the anode zone. The bottom of the pot. It must be anoxic, zero oxygen. This is where the bacteria live. If there is oxygen here, the electrons will jump to the oxygen instead of your wire. 2. World B, the cathode zone. The top of the pot. It must be oxic, high oxygen. This is where the electrons return to the Earth to complete the circuit. The materials, the $0 hustle. The container, use plastic or ceramic. Never use metal. It will short-circuit your battery before it starts. The electrodes, this is where people fail. They use copper nails. Don't. Copper poisons the bacteria. You need carbon. You can buy carbon felt for $8, or for a true $0 setup, you can use the carbon rods found inside old non-alkaline heavy-duty batteries, or even high-quality charcoal. The wire, stainless steel or titanium. Again, avoid copper in the soil. The plant, you need a sugar machine. Peace lilies or papyrus are the kings here because they love wet feet. The wetter the soil, the less oxygen reaches the bottom and the more electricity you get. The assembly. The base, lay your carbon felt at the bottom. Weave your stainless wire through it like needle and thread. Run that wire out of a small hole in the bottom. This is your negative. The seal. Pack the soil tight. I mean tight. You want to squeeze out every bubble of air. Use mud, not dry potting mix. The barrier. Add an inch of sand. This acts as a filter to keep oxygen from drifting down to your bacteria. The top. Lay your second piece of carbon felt. This is your positive. The life. Plant your lily. You will connect your multimeter and see nothing. 0.01 volts. You will think I lied to you, but remember, this is not a chemical battery, it is a living colony. You have just moved the bacteria into a new house. They haven't finished unpacking yet. You must wait 14 to 21 days for the biofilm to grow. Once those bacteria wire up to your carbon felt, the voltage will climb.
A single pot gives you roughly 0.6 volts. That is a trickle. It will light a single low-powered LED in a dark room. It feels like a toy. But what happens when you stop thinking about a pot and start thinking about the grid? If you have 10 pots on a windowsill and you wire the positive of one to the negative of the next, you don't have 0.6 volts anymore. You have 6 volts. That is enough to charge a smartphone. That is enough to power a Wi-Fi router. That is enough to run your emergency LED lighting for the entire night. Imagine a green roof on an apartment building in London or Sydney. Instead of just being a garden, that 1,000 square foot roof is a massive, silent, living generator. It generates 28 kilowatt hours of power per year per square meter. It cools the building, it cleans the air, and it generates electricity while you sleep. Why isn't this in every home? The energy industry is built on scarcity. They need to sell you something that runs out, coal, gas, or even solar panels that degrade over 20 years. They cannot sell you the relationship between a root and a microbe. You can't patent a peace lily. You can't put a tax on the mud in your backyard. The ethics of the Earth battery. This technology is carbon negative. A solar panel takes energy to build. It leaves a footprint. A plant eats CO2 to build the sugar that makes the electricity. This is the only energy source on the planet that makes the Earth healthier the more you use it. The call to action. We're standing on a living battery the size of a continent. Every forest is a power plant. Every garden is a grid. The only thing missing was the wire. I have shown you the science. I've given you the 5-minute blueprint. I have shown you the secret economy of the roots. Now, the choice is yours. You can keep paying for the grid, or you can start growing your own. The soil is not dead. It's electric, and it's been waiting for you to notice. If this changed how you look at the dirt beneath your feet, hit subscribe. We are building the garden grid, and you don't want to miss the next update. I'll see you in the dirt.